Thanks for joining us here on Arc Salt Lake. I'm Brian Schnee. Monday night, August the 4th. Tonight we're taking a look at some behind the scenes footage I got this past week while I was on site of the Monroe Canyon Fire. So I went to Sevier County to get you a first-hand look at the firefight against the Monroe Canyon Fire with over 62,000 acres burned. This is currently the largest wildfire in our state. The fire was discovered about 3 weeks ago. It's burned at least 10 homes and 4 smaller structures like storage sheds. The cause is listed as undetermined, still being investigated to this day, believed to be human caused. On Friday, Governor Spencer Cox came to Richfield and spoke to us on scene, begging the public to exercise extreme fire caution. While I was there, I got the opportunity for a behind the scenes look there inside of the cockpit at one of the most interesting tools used by firefighting teams. I spoke with Tom Wade, a first-year scooper pilot. Wade previously served in the Army for 16 years, flying Blackhawks and fixed-wing aircraft. Take a look.
This is an 802 air tractor. It was born as, an ag plane. A lot of people know it from the movie Planes, where it was Dusty the Crop Hopper. The company that created the Fireboss itself was Whip Air. They put these large floats on it to allow us to land on the water and scoop. It's got a 1,600 horsepower engine, and it can hold 800 gallons of water. It takes, depending on the altitude, but it can take us somewhere around a half mile to a mile of water to get the load on board. In the aircraft, you can kind of see the tank up there. It's from the firewall back towards where the cockpit is, so all that water sits up right in front of me. And inside below my feet is a sight gauge, and so you can watch the water come up, but as well we've got a fire gate that tells us how much water is coming on board, and we can set the exact amount that we need for the conditions.
Why'd you get in the fire?
A lot of people took their aviation career and went to the airlines, and it just didn't seem like the pace I was looking for. After supporting the troops on the ground in the military, this seemed like the next best thing to keep working with the guys on the ground, fighting fires and helping where we can.
What's your first year been like?
It's been a pretty wild year. We started in Michigan, then went up to Alaska, spent a couple of weeks out in Washington, and now here in Utah, supporting the ground after.
You run in tandem, right?
We do. The Fireboss likes to work in at least pairs. We're best used in at least 2, but up to 4 is a really good number. The aircraft itself can hold 800 gallons of water, so we go scoop. Depends on the altitude and the density of what's going on, but we're here probably at about 5,500 feet, scooping off the Paiute Reservoir. We can get around 550 gallons there and bring it to the fire.
What are the complexities with the terrain here and just how you approach your line in tandem with your partner?
Yeah, so obviously a lot higher altitude out here in Utah. So like I said, scooping out of Paiute at 5,500, and then the fire, some of it's up at around the 9,500 mark, 9,500 feet. And we're using the terrain to best coordinate our actions with the guys on the ground, working with the wingman to make sure that he knows where my line is at, and then coordinating how the drop goes in and where it lands on the fire.
If I remember correct, you're flying along somebody who's done this a long time. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. My partner has been in fire for about 15 years, so it's good to have somebody with a lot of knowledge and knows what's going on in the game. How
does this fire behavior differ from the other fires you've been on this year?
This is probably the biggest complex I've been on this year for sure. The fire behavior with the low relative humidity and the temperatures that we're seeing along with the winds is really creating havoc for the guys on the ground and pushing the fire in weird directions.
The direction or the distance between where your aircraft is and the flame length of the ground, is there a sweet spot for you?
Yeah, so we like to, somewhere between 60 and 100 feet over the flame is kind of where we want to be. Any higher than that, the water kind of just disperses a little too much. Any lower, and then it just kind of punches the fire and doesn't do what it needs to. So we also have to wear flotation devices and emergency breathing devices because we're on the water. So just in case for some reason we get stuck on the water, we wear emergency equipment.
All right. Sounds good. What do you think? Left foot here and in?
So you'll see a handle here. There's one up there.
Yep.
You can step anywhere on this piece. Try not to kick these. Move this out of the way.
Sure. I don't think I need the booster seat on this one. Sounds
and
good.
You can step anywhere on the seat as you go from here to there.
Okay.
And then it's kind of a jungle gym to get in.
Yeah. I'm a tall guy. Am I your tallest float pilot out there?
You've got another guy that's kind of tall, but I bet you're about the biggest person who's got in here in a while.
It feels it. Not a lot of grace, but I'm in. Okay. All right.
So welcome to my office.
This is a great office. You weren't kidding about the
Forward
view,
visibility.
forward visibility. You're lucky you got some nice side visibility.
Yeah. So coming, like, as far as what we can see over the fire, once we get a better deck angle, as we fly faster, our nose kind of tips a little lower, so we can see over the nose better. But when we're on the water, we're actually, we're kind of on the back of the heels of the boat. So
Right.
we're really kind of looking up, and it's just whatever's out in front of us is out in front of us.
Pretty cool conversation. Tom and his partner are actually in Nevada. We're in Elko County. There's about 4 of them right now that are getting a lot of attention. I want to show you kind of some of our fire video from Thursday afternoon. I'm actually going to walk back here and point this out here for you. What is this? This is a representation of a spot fire. If you read that in a fire update, or you hear some of the firefighters talk about the fire was spotting. It was spotting 20, 30, 40, 50 feet, or 20, 30, 40, 50 yards. That is what it looks like. The main body of the fire here against the timber. This is just outside of Burrville, by the way, looking about 1.5 miles across a valley. And that fire just jumps. It spots forward because of the wind, picking up those embers and physically moving it forward, creating fire in advance of the current flame length. So extremely technical stuff, and difficult for fire crews to really work on as they see that erratic fire behavior. That's what we're talking about right here, is this type of fire that you're seeing on the screen behind me. The fire jumping, the fire spotting, and crews in a lot of cases having to scramble and go catch those spots. So that was a really good example of what was going on in Burrville on Thursday. A good shift between Thursday and Friday, and now good news after the weekend here about the Monroe Canyon Fire, looking at a video of the Burrville area from a few days ago. An hour ago, evacuations for Burrville and the reservation campground were lifted. Sevier County Emergency Manager Deputy William Toffer called this a very big step in the right direction, and I would have to agree. Good job by everyone involved. In Arizona, the Dragon Bravo fire near the Grand Canyon's North Rim has now burned more than 123,000 acres. This makes it the largest wildfire in the nation. 1,200 firefighters are working to get this one somewhat contained, getting it somewhat under control. According to the latest report, containment about 13%. Right now, firefighters are working to keep the northernmost part of the fire inside of those containment lines due to the White Sage fire growing directly north of it, just miles from the Utah state border. So a good example there. Containment is perimeter. There can still be heat, and lots of it, inside those containment lines. Crews in Utah County almost done mopping up the Mill Canyon fire. Very small fire, but a fire in American Fork Canyon that caused evacuations today. It started earlier today, very early this morning, mind you, about 6:15, near Tibble Fork Reservoir. Forced several evacuations for campgrounds and such. The fire is 100% contained. It burned about 1/4 of an acre. First responders say that really steep terrain and bone-dry timber made the job difficult.
Our response was immediate. We're completely suppressing the fire. We didn't hesitate at all. We got in here as quickly as possible and got a helicopter to put water on it, and they were able to dig fire line around it, which is the method for containing the fire.
Thankfully, no structures burned, nobody hurt, just this spot that you're seeing here. Utah County Sheriff's Office says the scene has been turned over to the U.S. Forest Service for an investigation into what caused this. Fire season, really no mercy, not exclusive to us in Utah by any means. A wildfire has prompted evacuation warnings in Southern California. The Gifford Fire in San Luis Obispo and Santa Barbara counties covers more than 65,000 acres. According to CAL FIRE, 3% contained as of this afternoon. Officials say more than 450 structures are threatened by the fire. The Gifford Fire started as a series of small fires that broke out Friday afternoon along Highway 166, the cause under investigation. Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, dry, dangerous conditions fuel wildfire risk around the state. What caused a man-made fire at a Utah state park? And the charges filed after it burned over 3 acres. A man has been charged in connection with a fire that broke out at Sand Hollow State Park over the weekend. That fire, fueled by wind and dry brush, scorched more than 3 acres after a burning ATV was abandoned. Liv Kelleher spoke with law enforcement about how they police the parks, especially during red flag fire risks.
He was taken into custody on several charges, including a DUI. He had abandoned the fire, failure to report the fire, also causing over $1,000 worth of damage with this fire.
The fire prompted the evacuation of the Lakeview campground as flames reached up to 30 feet.
We think that the vehicle went over to the vegetation, and that's what caught it on fire, was with how dry the vegetation was.
The suspect, Francisco Chavez, also failed a field sobriety test. While alcohol is allowed in many state parks, operating any vehicle while impaired, whether it's a car, boat, or ATV, is illegal. The legal limit for recreational vehicles is the same as cars, 0.05.
OHV and boating throughout the state of Utah are hard enough as it is. I feel like if people are adding alcohol to that element, it's not a good recipe. I think it's a recipe for disaster.
DNR officers in this region patrol 8 counties. Santa Hollow is 20,000 acres alone. Coverage is strategic but limited.
We try to go to where the most people are, where most recreation is.
And that means visitors play a key role in keeping the park safe.
I think the general public, I think they police themselves.
Visitors like Jeremy Wood say some do this better than others.
I mean, really, like I said, it's a lot of common sense things that people just need to be careful of and be educated about.
Even if a fire is started unintentionally, officers say that person who is responsible can be held financially liable, especially if that fire started due to negligence. The fire here at Santa Hollow didn't have any injuries, nor did it threaten any structures. At Santa Hollow State Park, Liv Callaher, KUTV 2 News.
We have a great state. A lot of people love to come here and recreate, and I think we as Utahns want to protect that. And so it's just becoming educated. I think before you buy recreational vehicles, whether those are boats. I mean, there was a boat in Bear Lake just the other day that caught on fire. You know, those types of things, you need to make sure you're maintaining things properly. If things don't seem right, don't go. Don't run your recreational activities that you normally would.
Well, here is that boat fire Jeffrey was talking about. 6 people, including 2 children, were rescued by nearby boaters after their boat caught fire at Bear Lake. How it caught fire being investigated, but police are considering the possibility of gas vapor being trapped in the engine compartment. Jeffrey says he keeps a fire extinguisher in all of his vehicles, from his daily driver car to his large recreational boat. Staying in southern Utah, a few weeks ago, Liv took a look at the struggles that Sand Hollow State Park is having keeping up with an increase in litter. The park drew more than 1 million visitors last year, relies on a mix of seasonal workers, part-time staff, and volunteers who pick up the trash. The park has also added dumpsters and moved trash cans closer to high-use areas. The Department of Natural Resources does issue citations for littering at the park, with fines ranging from a few hundred to several $1,000s. A reminder, trash and litter can easily become a fire hazard. Hot and dry, it's what we've experienced here over the last month or so, maybe even longer. Meteorologist Chase Thomason here with our first alert forecast.
You probably noticed a little bit of wildfire smoke out there, really statewide, and it's impacting our air quality. It could be a whole lot worse, closer to those big fires in California where we're seeing some unhealthy air. But most of our air quality across the state is in the moderate category, and that probably is not going to change anytime soon, especially across portions of central Utah where you're closer to the Monroe Canyon Fire. There's also some new fires now burning in northern Nevada, so with these west and southwesterly winds, we're going to have periods of smoke as we head into your Tuesday and likely into your Wednesday as well. I think the thickest smoke will be across portions of southwestern Utah, closer to those big fires burning out in California. Temperatures today, it's been hot. We made it to 98 degrees in Salt Lake City, very close to 100, which is a few degrees above normal. But the good news, at least for northern Utah, is that we have some slightly cooler air moving in as some northwest winds arrive for tonight. We've had some really strong winds, though, for today. They will likely be a bit lighter overnight and into tomorrow morning, but they pick back up across southern and central Utah, 15 to 30 miles per hour. But notice, a light breeze for northern Utah, so our fire danger does drop just a bit. We've had red flag warnings pretty much statewide. Critical fire danger, please be extra careful. That fire danger could likely increase on Wednesday, as it looks like it could be a windier day statewide at winds at 15 to 30 miles per hour with higher gusts, especially in the afternoon. Now, it's a pretty quiet week dealing with those dry conditions. Now, temperatures tomorrow drop about 5 degrees for northern Utah. We'll likely be in the low 90s. Park City and Evanston pretty comfortable in the mid 80s. We'll see a few clouds bubbling up in central and southern Utah, but no rain. Low to mid 90s for highs near Richfield and Cedar City, and St. George, a toasty day at 104 degrees. Closer to the high pressure system to our south. Now, there's a little weak storm that's passing by to our north, and that's why we're going to see those winds change direction tonight and tomorrow, offering that slight dip in temperatures. But there is a bigger dip in temperatures coming our way by the end of the week with this storm. This storm is going to get a little bit closer to us. However, it looks like most of the moisture will once again stay north of Utah, but a cold front will be swinging in by Friday. So here's the cold front on Thursday to our north and west. There's the rain staying to our north. And again, it's ramping up those winds Wednesday and Thursday, and Friday could be a windy day as well. Big question, though, how far south will the moisture make it? Right now, I think the best chance will be near the Idaho border. I'm leaving the forecast dry for the Wasatch Front Friday evening, but that could change. If it digs further to the south, we might see a few sprinkles, so stay tuned. And then that cooler air mass moves in Friday into Saturday, and it'll be really pleasant this weekend. St. George, though, put it on repeat. Windy conditions each afternoon, hot temperatures right around 105 degrees. Really, Thursday, though, is your hottest day at 107. Overnight lows in the mid-70s. 105 next Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So it's a hot forecast and a dry forecast down in St. George. But you might have a couple clouds for tomorrow. 66 tonight. We're at 93 tomorrow in Salt Lake. 99 on Wednesday. So another really hot day, breezy conditions. But here comes that cool down that I mentioned. Upper 80s Friday and Saturday. And over the weekend, overnight lows really pleasant in the low to mid 60s.
Coming up on Arc Salt Lake, we all know how it feels to be stuck between a rock and a hard place. But this guy may really have all of us beat at this point. How wildlife officials freed this bear from plastic prison. Sometimes animals get caught in predicaments just like people. Case in point, this 2-year-old bear was wandering around parts of northwestern Wisconsin with its head stuck in a plastic jar. It's unclear when this happened, but reports about the bear first came into wildlife officials in Sawyer County on July 26th. Now, over the weekend, workers located the bear and sedated it with a dart. They managed to remove the plastic jug from the bear's head. Then they moved it to a safe wooded area with plenty of food and water. As of now, the bear seems okay and is enjoying its newfound freedom. Every Thursday morning, the sounds of piano music have filled this hospital in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. 95-year-old Alice Triddle says her dad introduced her to playing the piano at just 2 years old. She spent the 50 years, the last 50, teaching private lessons. Rather, for the first 50, but the last 25 or 35, she's been a volunteer playing the hobby. Her mission was to bring comfort to those who might be awaiting surgery or stressful test results. The beloved musician made the difficult choice to leave the state and be closer to family. She turns 96 on Friday. We'll see you tomorrow night back here at 7.